Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for writing in. It's so great to see you all. We're just going to go around and introduce ourselves. I'm Kristen Bednars.
I'm Zoe Joannelle.
And I'm Kim Stockley.
And the three of us are here to present to you on the power of promotion and how you can improve your student outreach efforts. So many of you are here to learn about best practices within the network, but also about ISEP resources. So we're going to take you through a brief demonstration of some of our tools, and then we're also going to have an option for everyone to share their best practices. If at any point you can't see our presentation or hear us, feel free to type in a question under the chat feature. We're going to have that up and we'll be monitoring it. So we just want to make sure this is a good webinar for everyone to hear and to stay involved. And there'll be an option for you to take yourselves off mute later or to type in a question to us that we can read to the group anonymously. So feel free to share as you wish. Okay. All right, the topics we're going to cover today are some of the tools that you will use as coordinators. We're going to talk about how to make the most of your student stories. We at ISEP are kind of changing our brand to be more student-focused. So we're telling the student story because we believe that's the most authentic way to talk about an ISEP experience. We're also going to guide you through some of the social media channels that we use at ISEP and how you can incorporate them into your current and existing social media and also to grow your own. And finally, we're going to share the best practices amongst all of our members. So we're going to walk you through our website. So I'm going to navigate from the PowerPoint to show you some of the websites that are listed right here. We're going to see the sites available list. We're very curious to see how many of you do use that function. So feel free to comment as you feel free. We're going to talk about the brand info and how you can display ISEP on your website, some of the flyers we use, and how to order catalogs. Okay. So the homepage of the website has the opportunity for you to click directly on the sites available. And you'll see the drop-down, and you could click on Study Worldwide, and you'll see the list of all available sites that we have. You'll be able to determine if they're exchange or direct, and you'll be able to see the type of placement, the chances of placement, possibly if there's any requirements, and the deadline for that. So this gets updated live from our program officers. So this is the quickest way for you to go and to see what programs are currently available for the upcoming semester. Next, we're going to show you the logo and the brand guidelines and how to display ISEP on your website. The short link for this is isep.org/logo, and that's written in the PowerPoint, which will be shared with all attendees after the presentation. But the quick link that you're going to want to access right here is the ISEP Style Guide. And we give you information of exactly how to write about ISEP on your website. So it's pretty easy. You can cut and paste this, and then you can also add your own and edit your own text as you see fit. We have regulations on our logo. Great. And then we're going to show you some of the location where you can find our flyers. Under coordinators, you have whatever type of coordinator you are. And in the left-hand navigation under promotional materials, you're going to see this page. You'll have everything here from the catalog, which you can view and share online. It's a live document, and it's all hyperlinked. So when you click on a program there, it's going to take you directly to that program directory page on our website. And you can also feel free to download some of the catalog and print out any pages that you wish. We have summer materials that we update with our new programs. We have a Study in English flyer for those students who are really looking for the opportunity to study in English. And then all of our posters, if you are lucky enough to have a printer, to print them. If you're not lucky enough, we're going to take you to a location where you can order all those catalogs. So the next page on our website is going to be that Request Publications tab in the left-hand navigation. We have a notification we put up here that we have a new portal. Everyone right now, even all of you on this call, have your email registered as your username. And you're going to have that password is going to be ChangeMe. We're going to give you a brief tutorial of how to order catalogs. So once you click on this link here, it'll take you to our storefront page. We're all set to log in as ISEP staff, and I'm going to hand the control over to Kim Stockley, who's going to walk you through how to order catalogs.
This is our new and improved way for you all to order catalogs online. In the past, you all filled out a form that was then sent to us that was just too many middlemen in that process. So now we have an easy way called the ISEP storefront for you to order catalogs directly online. And all of the inventory that you'll see on this screen will be catered directly to the type of member that you are. So if you're an ISEP Direct member, you will only see the ISEP Direct catalog. If you're an ISEP Exchange member, you'll see the U.S. catalog and so forth. Also on here, we have all of our posters that you can order. And it works just like, Amazon or any other online ordering website. In the drop-down, you can select how many catalogs you would like to order with a limit of, each one has its own limit. So let's, as an example, choose 60 U.S. catalogs. Up here on the right, you'll see the Add to Cart button, which will appear which will appear below. Now, should you order a ton of things, this cart here is just a preview. Since we just ordered one thing, we're only seeing everything. But if you think you added something and it's not showing up, you'll go to View Cart, and that should appear. So we're just going to order all of the things and check out. This process should only take a few minutes, and your items will be on their way to your office. So we'll view our cart, make sure that we have all of the items that we want, and either check out or keep shopping. It's free for you. You won't actually be paying any money, but you'll enter your shipping address here by clicking on the pencil. By first selecting your country, first name, last name. There's plenty of address lines, so you should be able to get the catalogs right to your office. Your confirmation email address, and etc. Just everything you would expect from an online ordering system, which we're really excited about for us and for you especially. So that all looks good to me. That's what where it should go. And you'll click Next and place the order. I'm not going to place it because I do not need all of those things, but you get the idea. And it'll tell you when the order will be shipped. We're having this fulfilled by off-site, so it will be should be on time. Should you order it with? It should take.
Well, it'll be shipped by UPS, so it depends on where you're located from the ISEP office. And if you're international, it will be shipped, I believe, through FedEx. So you will receive an email from this storefront once you place your order, and I think we'll have a tracking number as well, so you'll know exactly when it's shipped out, and you can keep track of that. And if you ever have any issues, you can email us at isepmedia@gmail.com. We're going to give you that email address at the end of the program. Okay. All right. We're going to go back to our PowerPoint presentation and pick up where we left off. So we just walked through all of these different resources on our website, and Zoe Joannelle is going to take over and talk about some other marketing tools that you can use.
Hi, so these are some marketing tools that we hope that you will be using to make your life easier. As you may be familiar, send out a number of promotional emails as well as an e-newsletter to our coordinators every other month. These emails, in addition to help you, keep in the loop with everything that's going on at ISEP, we also want to make it easier for you, and instead of, having to come up with specific things to say about ISEP programs to your students, we want to make your life really easy and just have you copy and paste our messages or forward our emails to your students. So for example, the coordinator e-newsletter will have some program highlights, copy and paste into your own communications, and you're set. Or for example, we'll send out promotional emails about the extended deadlines for programs or sites still available or new programs. In that case, those emails usually have a forward button, in which case you can forward directly to your students. So if you're not getting those emails by any chance, please make sure that in your inbox you have put news@isep.org on your safe list. If you have done that and are still not getting emails for whatever reason, please get in touch with me. You can see my email up on the screen, or you can give me a call. I think I'm on the whom do I call list. Another thing that we try to keep updated for you guys is all those study abroad directories and kind of study abroad office management software. This is a list of ones that we currently manage. So Studio Abroad, especially, I know that we have a number of U.S. members who are very active on Studio Abroad. Horizons, Abroad Office, and then Abroad 101 as well. We're constantly striving to update these directories, and we definitely, if there's anything wrong ever in your backend, please get in touch with me. We're always looking for your feedback. We're actually working on starting a steering committee with Studio Abroad to start, and then maybe with the other directories as well. Keep an eye out on in your inboxes. We have been working on kind of a survey to get a better idea of how you guys use Studio Abroad within your office. So please be on the lookout for that, and within that survey you'll know also, you'll be able to indicate interest in participating in the steering committee or giving feedback another way if you'd like.
Great. Zoe, we have a question about how often is the Studio Abroad directory updated? Excellent question.
It's updated. We have internal protocol whenever a new program comes on. The responsible program officers and regional directors will send me an email and ask me to update, and I usually try to get it done within the week. There is a time lag because Studio Abroad does control whether or not we're able to add a new program, so I'll have to email my contact and say, hey Susan, please add this program, and then when she gets to it she can add it, and then I can update all of the information on that end. And this might not be the platform to talk about it, but we're also working on overhauling the Studio Abroad records. So if you've been in there recently, you might see some inconsistencies. Unfortunately, with the resources allowed, we're doing as best we can, but we do have plans to streamline everything and make everything kind of easier to use. So that is also why we're looking for your feedback. And I'm happy to discuss and continue this conversation afterwards.
Zoe's doing excellent work on improving the use of Studio Abroad for our coordinators and from ISEP. So again, just to reiterate, we are creating a steering committee. So if you are interested, please email Zoe Joannell. The email is up there. If you're interested in participating, contributing, we really would like to improve that experience for everyone. Okay.
So some tips to keep in mind that we were just talking about. Kristen showed you make your links and logo prominent on your website about ISEP. It's really easy. Copy paste. That we want to make your life as easy as possible. So please do that. As previously stated, we do update our directories fairly often. So make sure that you go in your back end. I know I have to flag programs as updated, so go ahead and do that. And then make sure you're wanting to make your life easy, forward emails or copy and paste messages to your students as appropriate.
Now we're going to transition into how to make the most of your student stories. We have amazing students, and they are phenomenal at sharing their stories. One of the key reasons why we share their stories is because it helps build transparency. Students find that they can trust other students and their real, authentic experience. So the good, the bad, the ugly, they see the real thing when they hear it from another student's mouth. Hearing a student story also generates more interest and traffic on the website, because if they're finding content that they're actually interested in, they will, go to the website and, look more at their peers' stories. So by then they see other students sharing, and it just contributes to, to growth and sharing. It increases your engagement with the students by providing them a platform to share, by commenting, giving them feedback, and it helps foster alumni relations, because they build a relationship when they contribute to ISEP and they see their content kind of shared across all of our platforms, and they feel a greater connection to us. This will be the same if you implement these practices. So we're going to walk you through different ways of how you can make the most of student stories.
So we collect and share student stories through a variety of media. Where we start is our student evaluations, and I'll touch on that, and that kind of trickles through everything else that you see on this screen. Infographics based on student feedback, the catalogs that you now know how to order through the storefront are very, very student story heavy in order to bring that authenticity. The blog that you might be familiar with is also very focused on student stories. The ambassador program, which we'll touch on later, is also a way for students to share their stories with prospective students. And the photo essay contest and our social media are also channels through which we collect and share student stories.
So we're going to start going through those.
So the student evaluations is a little bit kind of where it all starts. We hope that you are encouraging your students to fill them out. There's both a pre-departure and a post-program evaluation with different questions in each one. This definitely helped us assess our programs. Everything goes back to the program side of the office so that they know what to improve for future students. But it's also a really great way for us to collect student stories, student photos, and kind of assess and measure, or at least try to measure, the growth that students have been doing. So you might also be collecting your own student evaluations after or before programs. But what we found helpful, and what we suggest you also do with your student evaluations, not only getting the quantitative data of was this program good, did you feel like you learned something, but asking artful questions to really get those little nuggets of wisdom from students that you want in order to do a better job of painting the picture of what this program is like, or kind of just boosting your promotional materials. And so what I found myself doing is that every time I sat there and was like, man, I really wish I had a student quote about X, Y, and Z, I took note of that, and then in the student evaluations we added the question, hey student, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? And it's amazing the answers you can get if you ask the right questions. So I know we share our completed student evaluations with all of you once students have completed them, but if you have any questions about what questions we include, or if you want to see a copy, we are happy to share with you. Yes. Yep. So there's a question, and yes, I think I answered that.
So the pre-departure evaluation, we will have that form. Right now it's closed on the website because we're not still accepting questions, but we can email that out to you. If you would like to see what those questions are, to maybe tailor them for your own. We use the interactive Wufoo form builder. It's very cost effective. We find that it does meet our needs for now. And then once the students complete those evaluations, we send them all out to coordinators. So every student who has completed a pre-departure or post, their coordinator will receive that information.
Yeah, and we do try to incentivize the students to fill them out as well. We know it's hard to get student participation sometimes, so after students complete the evaluation, is a random drawing, and two winners are randomly selected from the pre-departure, one from the pre-departure evaluation, one from the post-program evaluation, and they win $25 and a t-shirt. So tell your students.
Yes. Incentives are great. And you'll see on the screen that a sample of what we do is create an infographic. And if you don't have any designers on staff the way we are fortunate to have Kim, you can use some websites like Infogram or PictoChart to kind of build your own infographic.
Yeah. Evaluations, again, a lot of our student catalog, as you hopefully are familiar with, I really hope so, you will notice that it's very much focused on the student and what the student has to say and, the photos they took, and that is, a really, really, that without the evaluation, we could never have built this catalog the way it was. So that is proof. If you ever, you're wondering, man, like, I don't know, are the questions about, what did you think, what was your favorite spot in the city you studied abroad in, is that a worthwhile question to ask? I'm going to say yes, because I can guarantee you going through those student evaluations was basically how we built this catalog. We already went through the new storefront to order the catalogs and posters, but here's a reminder on how to do that, and we hope you take advantage of it.
In the same way that we built the catalog is how you can build and design your own flyers and publications by having a student picture and story. You're more likely to have that student take that flyer or catalog and print piece and share it with their friends because they're featured in it, not necessarily just because they want their friends to go abroad, but it's kind of...
no, actually the response we had on this catalog from students was huge. And, there's actually something that we could share with you later, the Storify story of exactly what impact the catalog had. Students were so happy to see their pictures and their stories. They were taking pictures with themselves and posting them on Twitter and Instagram. And everybody knows that word of mouth already happens. If you ask students, do you want to study abroad? It's always, oh, my friend told me. But this was an opportunity to harness that word of mouth and use it to our advantage. The ISEP blog you might be familiar with. If you're not, I really recommend you check it out. The entire goal of the blog is for you to be a resource for you and your students. There's a variety of posts, kinds of posts. As I said before, there's tons of student stories. Some students will be recommended, will stumble across a blog that they have written and we really want them to share their stories, so we'll ask them specifically if we can use a post they've written. And others just kind of find us on the internet and decide to submit a blog on their own, and I know others also come recommended by their coordinators. So if you ever have a student who you think has a great story to tell or could submit a great story, please tell me to do so. They can do that by clicking on Submit a Blog Post. There are very detailed instructions, not only on guidelines of how to write, but also a list of topics that they can use to brainstorm if they're not sure what to write about. And when they submit something, they just fill out a submission form online, and it goes straight to my inbox, and I workshop it with them if need be, and then they're published, and it's great. They're so happy to be published. We are so happy to be able to share their story, and it's really great to be able to allow students to do that. And again, we share this on Facebook and Twitter and ask them to share it on Facebook and Twitter, and it just kind of is harnessing that entire word of mouth.
And you can take their blog post that's shared on the ISEP website and share that on your own international page as well, or in your student online newspaper, which we highly encourage.
Yep. As I mentioned before, if you want to see only student stories, you can click on Read Student Stories right there. We also focus a number of blog posts about the post-study abroad experience. And so it could be helpful for students as well. If there's anything that you don't see on there and you would like to, write your own blog post and we will publish it. We've definitely had blog posts submitted by coordinators and we're happy to hear from you. And lastly, what I want to touch on before we move on is that students can also contact an ambassador through this blog. There are ambassador bios available broken up by region, and the students can click on each student's picture to see their full bio, and there's a link on every page that says Ask Student Name a Question, where they can email students directly.
We have a question about, is the ISEP coordinators notified when a student from their institution creates a blog post?
The protocol is that I send the blog post to the POs and regional directors responsible for that region, and they send the word along to the coordinators. So that is what hopefully is happening. If it's not, please let me know. You can also follow the blog if you want to hear and read all the really awesome things that our students are doing. Put your email in and you will get every single blog post delivered straight to your inbox. We usually post on Wednesdays, but sometimes more often. And it's a blog that's also been tagged and categorized. Every blog post is very, labeled in every way possible. So if you just even type in a university name in the search bar or a country, all the relevant posts should come up as well.
Great. We're going to now talk about the Student Ambassador Program. Some of you may already have ISEP student ambassadors on campus, and some of you may have your own student ambassadors. We highly encourage our students to nominate themselves to become student ambassadors during the time that we send out their program evaluation. So we send out an email to those students, and we also let coordinators know that this evaluation has gone out and the student ambassador nomination is in there. This year we're improving our student new nomination process to make it more quick and effective, where you'll get an alert as soon as the student nominates themselves, and you'll also get the link to forward to the student to encourage them to nominate themselves. So we are improving that process, and we always appreciate feedback. As you know, there are numerous benefits to both the student and the coordinator of having an ambassador on your campus, which are displayed on the screen right now. Some of the highlights of this program is that we do have a screening process, and we offer different options for the students. A lot of our students now are really getting involved in being social media ambassadors. So even if you can't have student ambassadors on your campus because you may have some restrictions with laws and you have to pay student workers, they can still be social media ambassadors, where they basically post stuff on their Facebook or write blog posts, and they kind of contribute there on their own time, and it's a little more informal. So we do encourage that. I'm going to take you now to a page on our website where you're going to find all those ambassador resources. Thank you. All right, so this ambassador page right here is going to be an overview of the program, and there's also many tools for the ambassador and you to download if you're, if you find them useful. A lot of our students download these PowerPoint slideshows, and we made them customizable so that your ambassadors can use them and customize them. We're going to show you an example of one student who did that and a little bit about her experience. But we encourage any of you to use this if you have students on your campus who are assisting you. And you can also use this by yourself and customize it for any kind of presentation you might have to give. Okay. So one of the examples that we have is Natalie Ferguson from Northern Arizona, and she created a presentation. You'll see that in that picture, it's ISEP branded, and she went in and edited it and talked about, kind of her own experience about studying abroad. And she has her t-shirt on, and once she completed this activity, she submitted a log to us. So we review her log, we respond to her, we thank you for her work, and then any students who contribute logs, we have bi-monthly drawings where we award them a prize. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the photo essay contest.
Okay, this is Kim back again. I am very happy to talk about the photo essay contest with you all. Have any of you had students who have participated in the photo contest, or any of you familiar with the contests that have occurred in the past year? Okay, well, just, feel free to speak up if you have any questions along the way. The photo contest has kind of taken on a new life in the past year. We've introduced social media voting. Students are encouraged to send us photos from their time abroad in various categories. We look for photos of their campus. We look for photos of them, what we like to say, living like a local, interacting with locals, really embracing the culture. Photos of the great outdoors and city life. So like Zoe mentioned before, you get the content that you ask for. So these are all things that we like to focus on and highlight in our marketing materials. So students are very responsive to prompts like that, and we've gotten some absolutely amazing photos from your students. Like I said, we have incorporated social media voting for the contest, and so that encourages students to invite their friends and family to look at the photo that they submitted and vote for them so that they can win a prize. And in that process, they also have access to seeing all of the other students' photos in the network, so they can feel like realize what a big network of students and alumni that they're a part of and how special it is. An overview of some of the social media communities that ISEP has. We have a private Facebook group that is monitored to make sure that spam accounts aren't in there, people trying to sell them stuff. It's the best we can. We just allow students into that group based on whether they're in WebIS or if they mention their university in their profile. Okay, so yeah, here we have our Facebook page, another presence that we have on Facebook, and here is where we'll post like blog posts or student photos. Like here's an example here. We shared a photo that a student tagged us in on Instagram. We'll post email campaigns, we'll post fill-in-the-blank questions to get student feedback. Basic things that you would expect from a Facebook page, but when we encourage coordinators to, I know a lot of you are a one-man team and you don't have time for social media, so we try to make it, like Zoe was saying with the newsletter, we try to make social media easy for you too. Just click the share button and share all of this information that you feel is relevant to your students. All right, here we have Twitter. We'll respond to student questions. We'll retweet students who are talking about what an amazing time they're having. Here's something we retweeted from UAM in Nicaragua. They do a really good job of documenting their student study abroad experiences along the way and bring us along for the ride. So they're pretty fun to follow and also to get inspiration for your own study abroad office. All right, here we have our Instagram account. Instagram has been really big for us in the past year and a half or so. We've had really successful contests. We've had students engage with us and share their photos. It's where we found the photos that the cover of our catalog, and students are very responsive and excited for us to reshare their photos and also see again what other students in the network are experiencing. Okay. We also have a presence on Pinterest where you can find blog posts, links to all of the directory pages accompanied by beautiful images of the country, student photos separated out into regions. Scroll down, we've got travel tips, graphics that include some of our graphics but other inspirational images, some trivia, travel gear, etc. There is some crossover in our social media content, but we try to really take advantage of each platform for what it is and share different content on all of them. How do students hear about these opportunities? Every student who is registered with us on WebIS gets our emails, and we send out email blasts to all of the students and include in the e-newsletter for coordinators also when the photo contests are happening. And that also goes for the ambassador program. They can select their interest in the ambassador program on the student evaluation as well. And photo contests generally happen at the end of the semester. So we just had one in January, and there'll be another one in May, June.
And while we are connecting directly with students about this, if you feel like you want to share this information with students, please do. The more they hear from different people, the better.
This is definitely, like Kristen mentioned before, our strategy for developing social media content. Students like to see themselves especially, and also like to see other students. So really use your students as a resource. Social media is a great way to for students to document their own experience, but also for them to share it with other people in hopes of inspiring them to study abroad as well.
So one of the best ways to manage your social media is to actually have some of your student workers or interns do it for you, because they're very likely to be able to find what students are sharing on their Instagram and Facebook accounts. So having a student who's dedicated to kind of following your students as they're abroad is kind of like what we do here on staff. We follow them, and when they take an Instagram photo, we maybe take a screenshot of that and share it on Instagram. But we're also we're kind of always hunting for them to kind of build it up until our students hear more about us and then just start tagging us. So sometimes you have to do a little bit of research, but a trick to that is to definitely have a student involved, because they know their peers best. They may have their student contact information already. It is wise to even ask a student when they go abroad what's their Instagram or Twitter or Facebook account, so that you can connect with them if they're comfortable giving that.
Okay, and for the one-man teams, social media, like I said before, we want to make it easy for you. Retweet ISEP. You can sign up for notifications from us. Promise we won't spam you or blow up your phone or wherever you use Twitter to see what ISEP is up to, and you can retweet that. Really take advantage of hashtags. Check the ISEP Study Abroad hashtag for updates from our members, our students, and us, and our staff. Or create your own hashtag. Say VCU Abroad. I think they have a really good social media presence, and start one of your own and start a collection of student stories that are exclusively yours. A good website that I like to use to manage Instagram on the web versus mobilely is Statagram. You can get analytics from there to see what photos get the most likes and comments from students, to kind of cater your future posts to what students respond to most. Sorry, I realize that I'm going backwards up this list. There's Storify, which we will show you an example of in just a minute. It's basically a blog post style site that is populated exclusively by social media content. You can add supportive text. Yeah, we'll show you right now. Oh, okay. Sorry, we're going to bring up a Storify that we just made highlighting our most recent catalog and the feedback that we got from students on social media. Bear with me for a second. Okay, can everybody see this? Okay, cool. So here is an overview of our student-sourced catalog, what we like to call it. Starting off in the beginning of this Storify, we have embedded our online version of our catalog where you can view and take a look through that.
Okay.
We go over the process of how we got student feedback or student permission to use their photos, and here are some of their reactions. Students are excited to see themselves featured, and so they are excited to share it with their followers. All of these are unsolicited posts by students who are just really, really excited. All right, so if anybody has any questions about Storify or how to, some techniques to get student feedback and permission to use their photos, feel free to send me an email.
So up on the screen are some examples of our members who are really doing an awesome job at each of these social media communities. So we're going to share this PowerPoint so you can actually go and click on all of these links to see what what your peers are doing. So we have everything from Twitter, Facebook. This SDSU is also launching a great new campaign on Facebook. VCU does some great work with Instagram, and actually, sorry, this is going to be University of Iowa in their WordPress blog, and then Agnes Scott does a great job with a photo contest. Okay, so we're going to talk more about, going to get back to on-campus efforts and what some of our members are doing when they're on campus. When we had a recent, well, last November, we had a coordinator workshop, which we highly encourage you to attend. Some of you on this call do come. It's a great refresher to come and share best practices. And so the next couple of slides are going to be some of the best practices that we heard during our roundtables on doing outreach to students. Okay. Okay. So some of the fairs, what people said to do is to have, a presence at all fairs, and then when you are having your own fairs, to have a financial aid booth on your table. I'm not going to read through each one of these, but you can see some of the comments of what our coordinators are making. I particularly love the last bullet on the page about sending thank you notes to faculty. I just think that's an excellent way to kind of engage your students and your faculty in the process. A lot of work does go into an ISEP application, and giving a little bit of recognition to that faculty member and gratitude for writing that evaluation is an excellent way to show that you appreciate what they're doing to help, empower your students and send them abroad. But it also kind of builds that relationship with you and the office so that they continue to encourage students to go abroad and to write evaluations for them. And then another idea that I thought was phenomenal is having just peer advisors. So it's similar to peer ambassadors, but they're really well trained to kind of pre-advise students, to talk with prospective students, and kind of you really have to work on almost training them to make sure the information that they're giving out is consistent with your department, and then when you pay them, you're more likely to see kind of a greater investment. So sometimes setting up student work programs may be more effective. And one of the schools that did that, they held weekly workshops where that student was kind of stationed to answer all the questions during like a very busy time like September when students are applying. Okay, so now we're going to take everyone off mute and give them the opportunity to share some of what they're doing. But while we do that, we're going to answer a question about promoting the uniqueness of ISEP compared to other study abroad programs. And I'm happy to say that we are launching a campaign which is going to be promoting how ISEP is immersive and creates empowerment for students. We believe those two qualities are what really sets us apart from our competitors. Our students live like locals. Even if they, kind of feel like a tourist where they have the opportunity to explore, they're really living like a local student in campus housing, taking classes with locals, maybe living with a host family. They're getting, immersive language learning opportunities, and we believe that the opportunity for them to live in fully immersed in a culture empowers them more to, grow their independence and kind of both their soft and, hard skills.
And I mean, in terms of sharing and sharing and forwarding and copying and pasting the messages that we mentioned before, those the immersion and what makes ISEP different and unique is something that we try to highlight in those messages or in those blog posts. Student blog posts that are more likely to talk about those things are things that we like to post. Unfortunately, students don't always say everything we want them to, but those are the ones that we like to focus on.
Would anyone like to share some of their best practices for how they promote ISEP programs? And at this point, I could try to take everyone off mute, but you can please stay on your own mute button unless you'd like to speak. Or you can use the little hand button to raise your hand so that I could see that you'd like to come off mute. Would anyone like to share? All right, I'm going to take people off mute. And just feel free to contribute about what you're doing on campus, or if you have some challenges that you're facing. Again, I'm taking you off mute, so please make sure you're muted unless you don't want to be. All right, I have Jean. Jean's interested in sharing.
Yes, hi. I hope you can hear me. This is Jean Hayes at Shenandoah University, and last fall I attended a NASA conference and learned about filming a short video to post from the students who studied abroad. So it lasts about 3 to 5 minutes. We're going to post that on our global newsletter. We're going to make that available to students so they can see their peers. You are so right about them wanting to talk to their fellow students. When they see their blogs, see their Facebooks, they get so excited and come in. And so I took that idea, and we have the film crew here, and we should have those out in about a month. So thank you very much for that suggestion.
Thank you, Jean, for sharing. I really appreciate that. It's a great way to use the resources that you have on campus, like film students. Unfortunately, we don't have that here, so we do encourage you to take advantage of what you have on campus. Go back to the last slide, and we really appreciate your feedback. We just heard it's been the best webinar they've been to this year. We really definitely enjoy doing this and serving you, so please always provide your feedback and enjoy that new storefront. Thank you so much, everyone.